This top 10 video really feels like the little engine that could. With all odds against it, sickness, time, corrupted video, unavailability to watch movies from 2024, and despite all the odds, here I finally am to give you my top 10 movies of 2024. Welcome to the channel, you beautiful people. The video that no one wants to watch anymore, but I'm still going to release, is finally here. Before I jump in, can I just say 2024 was an odd year for movies? Of course, we were experiencing the effects from the strikes, which left some movies out of place in the beginning of the year. An overall slow-paced year with a high ramp-up and exciting movies toward the end of the summer. What I can say about this year is that there's a lot of strong movies for me, but very few blew me out of the water. Like, I have so many 4 out of 5 star movies, but only 9 or 10 4.5 or 5 star movies in comparison to last year. The thing is, I'd still happily recommend my top 60 or so movies for anyone looking for a good flick. But even looking at my top 10 now, it feels unconventional. It's unique, and yet it feels right. I saw a total of 139 movies that I consider 2024 releases, and there's still a handful of films that I haven't seen yet. Bird, Crossing, La Chimera, I'm Still Here, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, Touch, The End, The Fire Inside, and a whole bunch more. It is what it is, but we need to cut the cord on this list. So before my top 10, here are my honorable mentions. My Old Ass, a movie I'm still crying over. Kill, a movie that doesn't know when to quit. Dee Dee, mother and son stories from the AAPI community just hit differently. Snack Shack, an underrated gem. Evil Does Not Exist, the most quietly loud film you'll see from last year. Juror number 2, Screw Warner Brothers. The Wild Robot, thank you Chris Sanders. Baby Girl, what a Christmas gift. A Real Pain, I'm so here for Kieran Culkin's award season. Look Back, I feel personally attacked by this movie, and it went for the heart and throat. The Monk and the Gun, in an election year, this was crazy. Conclave, in an election year, this was crazy. Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, a wonderfully messed up coming of age story. The Beast needs to be incorporated into future film curriculum. And The Seed of the Sacred Fig, the tenacity and bravery on screen is just incredible.
You look different.
I feel different.
If there's a movie I didn't see making my top 10 from the first watch, it's this one. The darkly hilarious and remarkable A Different Man subverted my expectations and has stuck with me. It's one of my favorite video reviews I did this past year. Adam Pearson is an incredible presence and energy, and he's sadly not getting his flowers for this movie that is really custom made for him. Sebastian Stan puts on one hell of a performance as he struggles with understanding and acceptance of himself. The fact that the messages transcend disability and transcend surface level exploration allows for relatability for so many that watched and for those that will discover it later. Change takes effort on all facets of life in a self-love journey, and I don't think a movie captured it in a more uncomfortably funny manner.
You turn me on like a light switch.
Sometimes the more quiet movies leave the bigger impacts, and All We Imagine as Light is as underrated and quiet as they come. In a year where the international conversation is full of rebellion, bravery, and intense divisiveness, Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light comes as a beacon to instill hope in the characters we follow and the audience that watches. Almost aimless, very slice of life-like, these are characters you connect to just for how grounded and natural they feel. You root for these women as they navigate the societal and patriarchal society we are thrust in. It leaves you on a quiet and hopeful note even when things may still seem unclear. But I'll be damned if my heart was not as vibrant as the shack worker dancing through the credits. When we choose to live in the light, you outshine the obstacles keeping you in the dark.
I think he did it, but I just can't prove it.
For me, one viewing permanently branded this movie in my mind. I cannot tell you how engrossed I was with Red Rooms. An extremely unnerving exploration into two women's obsession into a murder trial that equally puts up a mirror to society's obsession with true crime and violence. How we are greedy for all the details, quick to defend or convict. How can we fathom treating others as animalistic as we do or are capable of, and how the internet can be a shield or a tool for all of this. All expertly done without indulging in gratuitous violence or imagery. Your brain fills in the potentially horrifying details of the case you are not given. It places us in the point of view of an outsider, giving us details secondhand, making it relatable to everyday life, down to the scarily plausible crime at play. For weeks after my first watch, I could not shake this film. When I started my channel, Red Room stuck with me so much I had to review it and cement it as the underrated gem you need to watch.
We challenge you to a battle!
Dare I say this was the defining movie of 2024? Few movies have rode the cultural zeitgeist through the entirety of the year like Challengers. From the incredible Reznor Ross soundtrack to the on-screen chemistry of all three of our main characters, all packed in a beautifully paced, shot, and written movie, Challengers is far more exciting and sexy than any game of tennis has any right to be. You feel the energy pulsing with each bounce of a ball or exchange of looks as the dynamics shift over and over. The ideas of desire and ambition crossing and intertwining. What is the passion that keeps us going and fills our inner circles? The ideas of security and free-spirited lifestyle. I feel like people tried to reach the heights of provocative storytelling this year, and Luca Guadagnino just stands on a pedestal of his own by creating a very steamy movie without nudity or over-explicitness, all capped with an ending that'll have you screaming. Like, come on, this needed an Oscar nomination. I don't know what the Academy was thinking.
Got these chains on me!
This year brought us so many healing through art stories. Look Back, Ghost Light, Night Bitch, Exhibiting Forgiveness. But when I think about Sing Sing, I think of an ultimate form of liberation. Based on a real program at Sing Sing Prison and featuring previously incarcerated and veteran members of this program, Sing Sing shows the importance of providing an outlet for prisoners. One thing I love about Sing Sing is that all the actors have a moment, a monologue, a chance to shine. Coleman Domingo has been saying it all awards season, but these men have been branded as monsters and criminals by the legal system, and they get to reconnect with their humanity, feelings, and a healthy way of expression. Coleman Domingo leads the charge with a powerhouse performance that shows any and all the emotions, taking some jabs at the legal system, while Clarence Macklin gives an incredible, personal, and vulnerable performance that is absolutely not getting recognition, a result of what being shown proper guidance looks like. There are a couple sequences in front of a window in the prison that flip the characters on their heads every time they go into this space. I love the utilization of this setting. Showing the bright moments of a cold system like the prison system should also bring us, the audience, to the realization of, yes, these are also people. They can be in touch with themselves and do good with guidance and care for anyone that wants to turn their life around.
Long live the worm!
I'm not even a science fiction kind of guy, so the fact that Dune 2 is this high on my list is saying something. I like the first Dune, but it is the fact that I know it is mostly context and set up for this wild ride that kept my enjoyment at bay. And Denis Villeneuve has not only connected the dots for me, he sent them into overdrive. Masterfully crafted, incredibly acted, and paced so that the nearly 3-hour runtime is unnoticeable. I totally understand why a number of people have this movie as number one on their personal lists. Javier Bardem's comedic timing, Timmy's sudden and stunning command, and Austin Butler looking like Rufus from Kim Possible, but giving the energy of Lucifer from Cinderella. The worm ride is one of the most earth-shattering and stunning moments of the past year. There's a lot of pressure to close this franchise as Denis has realized it with a bang, and I know he won't disappoint. I'd also be remiss to not mention and pay respects to the visionary that tried to adapt Dune first in David Lynch. Your stamp on cinema, TV, and art as a whole will send shockwaves throughout the rest of time. Rest easy, sir.
It's the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah?
I'm about to shit my pants.
Can I just say my brother and I have the score to The Brutalist living rent-free in our heads, and we will sing wah 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 unprompted. Brady Corbet took some odd $10 million and crafted a phenomenal movie. I don't know why Harry Styles, It Feels Like a Real Movie echoes in my head when I think of The Brutalist. Maybe it's just a story on epic proportions that you don't get to see very much. The Brutalist takes the American dream and puts it on blast. From the establishing shot of an upside-down Statue of Liberty to our immigrant protagonist's 3.5-hour firsthand experience of how you will be broken down, taken advantage of for your hard work, your knowledge, your talent, all for the benefit of others and to keep you under their thumb. How biases and prejudice is inescapable. Adrian Brody puts up one hell of a lead performance with Guy Pearce twirling his mustache in a deliciously evil counter to Brody. And the second act introduces Felicity Jones as the missing key that brings emotions and actions to a head as we see what it's like for a family unit to immigrate. There's a reason I delayed this video for this movie alone, but either way, I knew expectations would have been blown out of the water, and now we look up to the monumental feat that is The Brutalist. I hear people screaming at me already, this isn't a 2024 film. Well, the US release happened in February, even though this premiered in festivals in 2023. Also, this is my list, so I get to do what I want. And I think I'm being fair here by not putting Perfect Days as my number one, but it did feel a little bit wrong. The thing about Perfect Days, my first watch left me transported. I was absolutely not in my theater seat, and I was floating from how Hirayama finds the little things to appreciate every day, to how he takes interruptions and everyday curveballs that disrupt his routine in stride. This movie is so gentle. I woke up the next day completely calm and gentler. This movie is so gentle, I forgave the family of 3 that sat in my assigned theater seat for my theatrical rewatch. A movie with one of the most complex ending shots that you will ever see. Life is just flashing before Hirayama's eyes. The ups, the downs, the things you sacrifice, the things you push away in order to find personal fulfillment, the desires you hold, the disappointment you face, the regrets you have. There's a reason this movie shot straight to my Letterboxd top 4, and I don't see my love for this movie fading anytime soon.
I'm you, and you are me.
As someone that really didn't get into horror until about 2 years ago, I could never have predicted that one of the most excessive, squishy, grotesque, and celebrated body horror films of the 21st century was going to make a best of list. But also no one could have predicted the layers that director Coralie Farjah would have been able to implement into the substance. Between the genius casting of Demi Moore as an aging starlet, of Dennis Quaid as slimy producer, of upcomer Margaret Qualley as a young and vivacious facet of said aging starlet, and then the clever writing, taking down beauty standards, the stark set design, the monstrous practical makeup and effects. Much like the movie itself, the praise for the substance is non-stop. The camera lingers uncomfortably as we see Demi Moore get ready for a date and ultimately falls into the false narrative of she isn't good enough. A narrative crafted from the male gaze and slowly transformed into the overall society gaze over women, especially women in the spotlight. The substance is clearly a classic in the making, one that won't soon be fading from the limelight. I don't know how I'll ever get over this movie. I hear the grown-up people across the internet saying Anora is overrated, or a disappointment, or excessive, and to that I say,
You go fuck yourself and your fucking mother, motherfucker!
art is subjective, and each time I've watched Anora, which is 3 times now, I've gained more empathy for each character. I've laughed at something new. I've cried every time I see the ending. Mikey Madison just gives such a commanding performance in every sense of the word, only bolstered by a supporting cast that brings the energy, care, and intimidation. Sean Baker has a talent of highlighting a community and lifting them up, and this exploration of a hard-working sex worker playing against the dynamics of a rich, powerful, and carefree world where actions don't lead to consequence makes for one compelling story. I know it's not the most exciting pick for the best movie of 2024, but when I look back, this one is one that I can watch endlessly. Honora is queen of the movies in 2024. There you go. The deed is done. Thank you for being so patient with me if you've made it this far. I promise it won't take this long to compile this list and put out a video next year. He said hopefully, but soon after the Oscars, we get to put 2024 to rest and just focus on the greener pastures of 2025. Thank you for watching. My name is Kyle. I'm still learning to fall in love with the medium of cinema. And if you'd like to continue on this journey with me, you should hit subscribe, hit the bell, and follow me on Letterboxd. Comment below your top 10 movies of 2024. Genuinely curious. And don't forget to like this video. And until next time, that's a wrap.